Soul Touch of the Poet and my brother.
Sou X.
Back in here, we talk about science or religion. Ladies and gentlemen, science or religion, check it out. Again, if you're checking this out, audio version, it's going to be 2 YouTube episodes to follow this. If you're checking this out on YouTube, it's going to be an audio version, vice versa. So, again, check them out. I say check out the YouTube because, you get to see our facial expressions and body language and this, that, and the other. And, it may get you into a little more. But we're going to jump back into it, man.
Yeah, man. And another thing about this YouTube is we're trying to get our subscriber count up. So help us out. Just help us out. Just hit the like, the share, the subscribe. Do that for us. Thank you.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit help. Just a little bit.
Did you want to finish what you were saying before we took that break?
Yeah. What it is again, I put it to you like this. We grew up in the era where Tupac was doing his thing. We watched him go from being a helper, meaning with Digital Underground, to becoming bigger than Digital Underground, and no respect to Digital Underground. He once said, I might not be a soldier within the war that society is bringing upon the people. But he said, I want to be a spark that sparks the brain, that ignites the fire within one person that comes about within a revolution, or however you want to look at that. And that's basically how I feel, what we're doing here with our podcast is we're actually giving people a spark to make them think outside of what they've been trained to think. Again, I'll go back to the reference of I had a college course where my professor was like, I'm going to teach you guys how to think in here. And again, me at that particular time, in my life, I was thinking, what the fuck are you talking about? Teach me how to think. I know how to think. But she literally did teach us how to think, meaning she told us how to do research, how to do the proper research, how to not stop doing the research until we found an answer that was suitable enough to quench our thirst for the knowledge we were after. And that's all we want to do here. We want to be a part of that thirst that you have and spark that flame that makes you look into things that you question. And I know someone like, well, you on that conscious shit. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. Like, I've seen the conscious community. I've never been a part of the conscious community. I respect the conscious community. But that's just not where I'm at. So, again, I say all that to say that we just want you to don't accept everything you've been taught. Do your own research and don't stop doing your research until your thirst is quenched.
My thirst a long time ago. Everything that I am absorbing, learning, research, if you want to use that word, is just for simple knowledge and awareness of everything around me.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to be aware of everything around me. So, science. Science is a systematic enterprise that builds and organizes knowledge in the form of testable explanations and predictions about the universe. Predictions, best guess or assumptions, as I keep saying.
Right.
The earliest roots of science can be traced back to ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia in around 3000 to 1200 BCE. that is before the Common Era, which we grew up learning it as before Christ.
Right.
Okay. So that's, and notice how when you count down from 2022 to zero, the numbers go from larger to smaller. Okay. For those youngsters who aren't aware of that, if you're out there listening. Now, religion, on the other hand, religion is a social, cultural system of designated behaviors and practices, morals, beliefs, worldviews, texts, sanctified places, prophecies, best guess or assumptions, ethics, or organizations that relates humanity to supernatural, transcendental, and spiritual elements. However, there is no scholarly consensus over what precisely constitute religion. There's one more thing that I wanted to say before we went any further, and that is, where is it? It was, it's pretty much 10,000 recognizable religions on this planet. Sou X.
Wow. 10,000.
10,000 recognizable religions on this planet.
That is astronomical. That's a lot of religions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like one of those things that I found about religion, right? And I'll give you guys a little bit of history on my thoughts when it comes down to religion. I came up where I was raised in a Baptist household.
Likewise.
When we were young, religion was basically forced upon us. Meaning our parents.
Likewise.
our parents felt like, you guys need religion, even though they didn't always attend church with us. They would make us go even though they weren't there. And I always had a problem with that. I always felt like, why are you making me go to this organization where I don't know anyone here? I'm not comfortable here. And you want me to worship this person that doesn't even look like me.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up.
So, and it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. I had one grandmother who was all about nature, and she taught me about Earth and giving back to Earth, and that we're here to protect the planet, everything that goes along with the planet. Then I had one grandmother who believed that to a certain extent, but she also had this picture of, again, this image of someone I was supposed to worship that didn't even look like me on her wall. And that always puzzled me. Like, why would I do that? This person doesn't look like me. Their hair texture isn't the same as mine. Their eye color is obviously not like mine. Their skin complexion is nowhere near mine. So why in the hell am I supposed to worship this person? And it's crazy because I was looking at this one YouTuber, and he was making a statement about good and evil, right? And I wish I could recall his name, and I hate that I can't because he has a damn good channel. But he was making a point about good and evil, meaning he always wondered why people who did bad were successful, and people who did good and always did good by other people. It seemed like they had the worst fucking luck ever. You know what I mean? And the way he broke it down made so much sense to me. And I was like, damn, this is a question I had in the back of my mind, but I never did find an answer. So I just put it in the back of my mind, and that's where it's been ever since. But anyway, I say that to say that if you look at good and you look at evil, they're both what someone would say is their idea. Like on one spectrum, end of the spectrum, you have evil. On the other end, you'll have good. So who's to say exactly what's good and what's evil? It's all up to the individual and their interpretation of it. Meaning, like, how can I put this? Some people may say they hate the sun, and someone say, I hate the moon. But a person that hates the moon loves the sun, and the person that hates the sun loves the moon. So again, it comes down to interpretation of what it is that you find to be your personal preference. So one man's, how can I put this? One man's, I can't think of the saying. I can't think of it, but anyway, what I'm saying in a nutshell is good and evil are basically the same thing. It's all about how you look at it. Meaning one man's rebel could be another man's freedom fighter. Or one man's terrorist could be another man's freedom fighter. It's all up to interpretation. And that's kind of like how I see religion and science. It's up to your interpretation of it. How does science apply to your life? How does religion apply to your life? You as an individual is the only one who can determine what and who that is. Did I articulate that correctly?
Good enough. To piggyback off what you said, and this is what angered me about religion, and this is why I said I'm glad you brought up worshiping someone that doesn't look like you.
Right.
This is what angers me about religion. Let's say that there is an actual God. For the life of me, I cannot understand why we as human beings debate over what God looks like, what gender God is, or anything like that. Because if I stand on the side of religion and I'm a firm believer of it, and we are made in the likeness of God, is what is said in religion. Nobody knows what God looks like. Nobody. So if you want to have a blue-eyed, blonde-haired, let me back up. Because the individual that is on the wall is Jesus, not God. Okay? So I had to fix that part.
Right.
But in any event, if you have a blue-eyed, long-haired picture of Jesus on your wall, and that's what you believe Jesus looks like, so be it.
By all means.
By all means.